So let's look at the setup and the objectives of your at-home watercolor assignment. Students will be introduced to a watercolor painting techniques through the experimentation of at-home stainable liquids such as coffee and tea. Students will demonstrate the understanding of wash and layering watercolor processes to create proper form, value, and texture for their subject. So, to begin, let's look at the requirements of our work. First of all, you guys are going to have to come up with test strips and practice and show that as part of your final. We need to test the layering. We need to test the consistency of the coffee or tea that you're going to be using before you start your final. And that practice and test strips are going to provide evidence of growth in the final work. Clearly, you're going to get better the more practice and the more test strips that you create before you start your final. Your main subject has proportion and scale within the composition, preferably drawn from life. My suggestion would be to take a look at these examples for your final, because I think that these types of subjects would be perfect for the time that you have and for your at-home project. Take a look at just basic dinnerware if you want to set that up and use that as an interesting composition. Landscapes are good. Even just specific trees might even be better, one that you might have in your yard. Close-up facial features are pretty cool, and you can use that from a mirror, take a photograph of yourself. Flowers are also going to be very easy to do, and the reason is that any of these trees or landscapes or things found in nature don't have to be perfect. And so if you mess up, it will be less recognizable as something as like a facial feature if you try to do like a whole face. So let's try to stick with something with your subject to be something like this. And again, preferably something that you are going to be finding at your home for like a still life. Okay. This eye painting tutorial is pretty cool. It's not required, but if you are interested in doing any kind of facial features or anything that is a little bit more of a challenge for you, some of you will be able to handle this. That's here that you can actually see how they're going to get a little bit more detailed with the way that they are painting. This artist is the same artist that you're going to be working with for the Ed puzzle, so it's the same guy, okay? Art for inspiration. This is just kind of a cool website that actually has specific artists that do coffee painting, and so I don't necessarily want you working with portraits, but you can at least see the amount of detail that can be created with the coffee, okay? So that is about your main subject. Let's look at your application. So the liquid application creates a wide range of values with transparent layers, and you can show control of the liquid. So when you are working with your Ed puzzle, you're going to be able to notice that that's exactly how he's creating his work, is by those wide range
of the
of
coffee.
layers.
It's going to start to get
Okay?
darker. So we're starting
Sorry.
out.
So you can see that you guys will be going through this tutorial to get you started. Students can recognize the appropriate places to change values. So remember, not just layering them to create the values, but actually putting them in the right spots to create form and texture. This is harder. This is more challenging. And in order to create this, you have to be able to control it and be able to actually see the darks and lights in your subject. Level of difficulty in subject and technique is appropriate for the individual. So I'm going to be looking at that and making sure that you guys are challenging yourselves in there and then demonstrating care and craftsmanship in your work.